I think in the world, the most dangerous thing is hope. And sometimes it could be the most inspirational thing. Hope. All depends on context, I assume. But also, even without context, there's hope. Hope that things will get better. Hope that this is a one-time thing. Hope that the mistakes of the past does not come back to bite us in the ass. Hope, I think, what drives us all to be better people. Or if you're a cruel SOB, then hope is to hope that no one notices that you're a bad SOB. Sometimes the villain wants to be the villain, and they hope not to be called out on it. But karma comes to us all. The question is, do you learn from it? Karma is not the end-all be-all of things. But sometimes you need to take a step back and be like, okay, what did you learn? And I think that's what we're going to learn today. Hey everybody, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic, and welcome back. We're continuing our 2026 NFL Draft recap. We are currently in the AFC West, and we'll be talking about the team that has the biggest hope. The Kansas City Chiefs. They have hope. Hope to return. Hope that Mahomes injury doesn't become a long and devastating. The hope that Mahomes injury doesn't become a Carson Wentz, but becomes a Tom Brady, where he comes back stronger and powerful and greater than ever. And not Carson Wentz, a disappointment, an obnoxious, disappearing, forgotten. But also, we're hoping that the Chiefs can get back to what they were, the team to beat. But everyone else in the AFC looks pretty good. But your draft class? I'm jealous. Let's talk about the Chiefs. So, in the past, I've always felt like the Chiefs, when it comes to their drafting, they have been almost ridiculously accurate when it comes to evaluating their defensive back departments, especially their cornerback departments. It feels like everyone they have drafted, regardless of where they are round-wise, they hit. And they become so valuable that they can't keep. And then addressing their defensive players, that's another still solid. I think the linebackers still probably their weakest, but that's not bad. I feel like their defensive lineman has been pretty solid, and their secondary has been solid. So, 2 out of 3 is not bad, especially when one complements clearly the other to make that one weaker group not to be the factor to save us all. So, to me, the Chiefs going in, they addressed running back with Walker, former MVP of the Seattle Seahawks, so the thought of them getting love was out the window. There was still a chance because of Andy Reid mine, but we kind of felt like that was kind of off the table. I think corner, because they lost 2 of their corners, they really had to address it. And of course, they got 2 first-round picks from their trades, so I kind of makes sense. And sometimes you got to go with the best around. No one ever's going to keep you down because you're the best. So get the best. I butchered that song, but I still like it. So, for the first time in probably felt like a decade, the Chiefs have a top 10 pick, and not because they traded up to get in the top 10, but because they just happened to place in the top 10. Because they sucked. Anyway, with the 6th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs selected Mezenor Delane, cornerback, LSU. This was by far the top defensive player, if not the top player, to be evaluated. Him going number 6, you can make the argument saying that sounds a little disrespectful because he should have been at least a top 5. He was that good. Too bad that everyone else needed other needs. But to let him fall to the Chiefs, Denver, Raiders, and the Broncos, and everyone else in the AFC were just like, great, great, great. Mendoza's like, cool, now I have to avoid him, not to throw interceptions to. Goody. So, yes, I still believe the strength of the Chiefs has been their defense for the past few seasons. Even the year they did win a Super Bowl, I still felt like it was their defense doing probably 65 to 70% more of the work to help, because the Chiefs' offense have not been that 35-point a game offense for a while. There have been some splashes here and there, but the Chiefs' core have been their defense. And Mahomes' ability to make plays, still, it's strictly been that defense. Sacking quarterbacks, forcing turnovers, giving Mahomes a shorter field, clearly have been the Chiefs' MO for probably the past 4 seasons, I'd probably say. Maybe even further. I think the last time the Chiefs' offense was good was the year during COVID when they lost to Tampa. That was the last year where the offense was just dynamite. They got the best corner. They lost 2 of their starting corners, so I guess getting the best one makes sense. And to me, this one scares me a little bit more than if they were to get like a pass rusher. Because like I said, I feel like the defensive back corner position is probably the toughest position. And if you're the top person in your position, that means you have this. Your mental knowledge of the position and how to read defenses, read the receiver, that to me is scarier than any mad scientist in a comic book. So he goes to the Chiefs, probably one of the smartest coaching staff around. So talk about getting, a valuable asset. So that's the first pick. But no, they were not done. They still got a first round pick. So with the 29th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Peter Woods, defensive tackle, Clemson. Now, I've heard that Peter Woods is coming in as the potential heir to Chris Jones. And yes, he is viewed as the backup to Jones according to the depth chart. Sure, but I'm not going to put that much pressure on this young man's shoulders. Could he become? Sure. But I think I saw a wise young high school basketball player, I think out of California, when he was being viewed as probably the next Curry or the next Dwayne Wade. And he responded by saying, I want to be the next me. I want to be me. I want to be the first me and the second version of me. I think Woods will have his own strategy. I don't think Woods is being thrust in to be that, because Chris Jones is a game havocer. Even if he gets no statistical stats on the play, he's the guy. I think Woods is going to be just that fresh young leg to come in and makes a play. Boom. Good rotation, fresh legs, full of energy. Boom, 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 boom. I think Peter Woods is going to be like the good number 2 for a combo. And Jones will still be the guy, but Woods is going to be like that extra spark. Heck, I won't be surprised if in certain situations they move Woods and Jones on the same field at the same time. Don't be surprised that becomes a surprising situation in week 8, week 7, later down the line. Don't be surprised. So, they had 2 home runs, in my opinion, fixing that defense that's been the core. But they were not done. And I think probably one of the biggest steals for them is in the second round. With the 40th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs selected R. Mason Thomas, edge, Oklahoma. This guy, I have been really excited. Really excited for this young man. I watched him play in Oklahoma. I feel like I want him to come to Tampa. I know we got Ruben Bain Jr. I know, we're happy. Trust me, we are happy. Anyone that's not happy, they never were a Bucks fan. Or they never seen happiness in their life. But R. Mason Thomas was the guy that I felt could have been a late first round for those contending teams like the Denver, Seattle, the Rams. Could have been one of those players, but the Rams traded their pick. I know, but still, the point is there is that R. Mason was not valuable as a player to help fix a bad team. But if he went to a good team, oh my goodness, why? That was our Mason Thomas. He doesn't have to be the guy that fixes the franchise in the top 10 pick. But if he gets in the top 30 and goes to teams that won divisions, won a playoff game, and went to the conference championship, like New England or something like that, that where I felt like would have been worse. Which sometimes mean, which was kind of like a thing of saying, I'm not the best player, but I'm going to a team that might win a Super Bowl my rookie season. Thomas, to me, is raw in the good way. He's raw in the good way. He's a tackling machine. He has aggression. He has a nose for the football. Still kind of raw, but on the Chiefs with that defensive coaching staff, come on. Yeah, this to me feels like a steal, and you know why soon enough. But I feel like this is a steal for the Chiefs. Unfair, because Bo Nix, Mendoza, and Herbert, like, dang it. Like I said, the Chiefs build their defense with, to me, 3 solid hitters. And they are not done. Because, they're done for a while. They didn't pick another one until the 4th round. It was almost, wow, it was literally 69 picks later. Let's all be mature. In the 4th round, with the 109th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs selected Jadon Kennedy, corner, Oregon. Is it corner Oregon or a safety Oregon? Looks like I wrote down as a corner, but apparently on ESPN.com he's a safety. So maybe I mislabeled it. And I'm looking at the depth chart design, and they currently have our boy, as a strong side linebacker. Okay, it says here's a corner, but in the depth chart, they have him behind Cole Christiansen. The linebacker. They have him in. So I don't know, sir, where you're gonna put you in, but your the ESPN says you're drafted as a safety. I wrote you as a corner. The Chiefs website says you're a corner, but they have you behind Cole, the strong side linebacker. So good news is that you are so valuable, they're going to experiment with you and find a place for you. Hopefully it's something solid. But we have seen, safeties become bulkier linebacker. We have seen this successful. We have seen corners go to safety. We have seen this time and time again in the league, so no too crazy. But there's a small part of me feeling like, remember when I said they're very good at drafting corners, drafting defensive backs? Even if they don't put him as a defensive back, there's a small part I'm thinking they know something. They know something that we don't know. They see something. Some dark magic voodoo. They know something. So, my dude, wherever they're going to put you to play, they believe you're going to do it. And to me, that should be exciting for you because you have such value to offer. Now, I'll be a dick and say, don't screw it up. But you have more valuable than most. Congrats to that. Then we go to the 5th round. With the 161st pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs selected Emmett Johnson, running back, Nebraska. Now, yes, I know, they did address the running back. But we all know that Seattle had a 1-2 punch. Even though they did lose their other running back to injuries, and Walker became the guy based on, the 1-2 punch got broken. But they still use a 1-2 punch as the season progressed. So to me, and in today's NFL, I think a 1-2 punch is the standard, and the third running back is your changeup. So to me, looking at, Pacheco's gone. Line Edwards-Helaire didn't work out. And Walker's your guy. And Walker is 24? Like, he's still very young. for a guy that won a Super Bowl and has proven himself worth. Okay, so he's still very young, man. Emmett Johnson coming in, 5'11", 200. This guy just feels like a scat back. Like, this is a guy like Walker, even though he may not be considered a bruiser. I look at Walker like I look at Michael Turner. For those who remember Michael Turner, that played with the Chargers, but then he went to the Falcons and then blew up. I see him the same way. Emmett Johnson is kind of like the Devontae Freeman, the second back they get, the one to help out. I think Walker will be your downhill, run the clock, put, the defenders, on exhaustion mode. While Emmett Johnson will be that quick in between the tackles, cut to the outside. He can outrun a linebacker, get those screen passes. This feels like where I see them going with it. And remember, the Chiefs, had a Hunter and Pacheco, so they still ran with a 2 running back system back in the day. So it's nothing like too crazy for them to do. And I think Johnson seems like. Remember, Andy Reid is not just a guy that likes cheeseburgers. This guy is a genius in the developing player that people may think, does it work? We got to remember, there are some teams that will draft players that the experts in suits and ties and YouTubers don't evaluate the same way, because just because that player plays great doesn't mean they can play great for that system. Sometimes a linebacker plays better on a 4-3 system than a 3-4. You may think, well, they're inside linebackers and inside linebacker. I'm like, it's a little bit different than that. And players that have played and people that know football will tell you, even being a defensive end, are you a left defensive end or a right defensive end? It matters. It matters, especially when it comes to schemes of 4-3-3-4. Like I said about all these videos, a defensive end to a 3-4 is different from a 4-3. What the evaluation? So we may look at these players in this whole draft process and assume, well, they were a corner good here. I'm like, yeah, but they're going to a scheme that's more zone. And if they're not good at zone, they're not going to develop, no matter how good they are at college as a shutdown corner, because they probably play more man at Florida State or SMU or UCLA. Sometime in this league, we have to adapt that the best player has to fit the best system. And to me, this feels like a best system for Johnson. And then a few picks later in the 5th round, with the 176th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Cyrus Allen, wide receiver, Cincinnati. This guy just feels like they want that short, fast guy again. Not Tyreek Hill. I mean, no one's ever going to be Cheetah. But Cyrus Allen just feels the intangible of being that small receiver, quickness, get in space, get in the screens, get in go. Like, you just feel it. Because looking at the receiver pool, Thornton played well. Worthy, I kind of felt like he's still their home run hitter. And Rashid Rice is hopefully not getting in too much trouble. And then Travis Kelce, as long as he's dating Taylor Swift. Engaged. Okay. They're going to get married. Okay. Don't come at me. I'm just saying. The receiving pool. Just what I'm addressing it. So, Cyrus Allen, change up. I feel like the best receiver for the Chiefs is Rice. That includes Travis Kelce, because Kelce is a much older gentleman compared to Rice. As long as if Rice can just stay out of trouble, he'll be fine. He'll have another 6, 7, maybe 8 years of productivity, evaluation, greatness. He'll be fine. Everyone else, Worthy, I still feel like he's a home run guy. And Thornton, I feel like he's your Chris Godwin, your inside the slot kind of guy, but a lot faster than people give him credit for. But to me, Cyrus Allen is your gadget changeup. Quick screen on screen, boom, 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 gone. You want him to be your Tyreek Hill, even though there'll never ever be a Tyreek Hill again. But I can't help but feel like they're probably looking at him saying, we want that type. That small receiver with quick feet. And then the last pick, probably the biggest, but remember, Andy Reid's a genius. He's a genius. We're idiots. He's a genius. In the 7th round, with a 249th pick, less than 10 picks from the final, the Kansas City Chiefs select Garrett Nessimer, quarterback LSU. I remember this guy was evaluated as potentially the top quarterback in the draft. Or at least, he was going to be at least in the second round at best. Then, I don't know what happened this year for LSU in general, but I'm not a college football channel. I am a college football fan. I like it more than the NFL. Fight me on that. But, there was much praise for him. And then, just disappeared. So for me, obviously, he's not going to replace Mahomes. Obviously, Justin Fields is the guy. And God forbid they go through the same situation as last year, which I don't think they're going to when it comes to the injury bug. But let's just be real. I feel like Justin Fields is more of a temporary replacement. If Garrett shows promise, he's clearly going to be the number 2 behind Mahomes. And nothing screams a quarterback's confidence and evaluation than learning behind a star quarterback in this league. Learning how they do it. And nothing screams better than Mahomes. It helped Jimmy Garoppolo. It helped Jacoby Brissett. And he was a 3rd-round pick. Or a 3rd-string quarterback in that class, in that team. Because Brady got suspended for good reasons. But then Garoppolo got hurt. So it helped to learn from a good coach and a star quarterback. So who knows? Am I going to say that Garrett is going to be the next Sam Darnold? No. But then again, we didn't think Sam Darnold would be going to win the Super Bowl anyway. So maybe? I think Garrett has the best coaching, the best staff to learn the NFL, and behind one of the better quarterbacks who I can't help but feel like is a humble gentleman that I'll be willing to teach as well as lead and win Super Bowls. And that is the Chiefs' 7 picks that I made longer. The player I'm most excited about, you already know. R. Mason Thomas, Edge, Oklahoma. He is my most excited because I thought he was coming to Tampa. Or at least he was going to be, I thought he was going to come to Tampa. I didn't care about anybody else. But this is a guy that I get Kalafis vibes. The guy they got from Purdue that blew up, and I'm like, damn. So I feel like him and Peter Woods I'll consider 1-2, but Tom is the most excited about because I feel like they're getting him on a bargain, and that was scared me because it's the Chiefs. They get players on bargain and they become A-stars. With the players they got there, and like I said, this is based on the draft. I am not evaluating the team for the season. That's during the preview segment when we do that and all this and after preseason. But based on the players they have now, I think the Chiefs became contenders. Now you may say, well, Mahomes is them. Like, no. We're talking about the players they have. They build this defense. Every one of these players they got here, including the Oregon whatever, corner, safety, linebacker, whatever, is value. I honestly can say that Nessimer might be the one player that might never play in the NFL this season, but everyone else will get probably at least a few series, maybe a few snaps, maybe a few games will play in this team. And I won't be surprised if Johnson, Allen, if everyone makes an impact play in a game, in a season. The defense alone just feels like it's better. It's better, and that means they're contenders. Because to me, that has been the soul of the Chiefs for the past 5 seasons. And that's the Chiefs. Next, we'll go to the last pick, the Los Angeles Chargers. And don't worry, I'm not excited about them either. But we will respect the Chargers as they once again ask the question, are we better? Are we? And how much can we rely on Justin Herbert not breaking down and falling apart? That's next time. But until then, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic. Thank you so very much for watching.